My fish have arrived. I'm so excited. I'm going to get them into my pond today. So come join me. Welcome to your new home, little fish. Hey, so welcome back. My fish have arrived and I'm going to put them into my new pond today and introduce you to my new Medaka fish. And first of all, if you're not sure what my pond project's all about, you might want to go back and watch the video where I set it all up from start to finish, and then come back and watch this one so you can see the fish and their introduction. So what are my fish? Well, I have a Medaka fish, which are native to places like Japan. They're a really small fish, and that's why I chose it, because they'll be very happy in my very small tank, because they only grow to about 3 centimeters in length. And also they're very used to shallow waters, because naturally they'd actually live in like the rice paddy fields of Japan, so very shallow water, often quite murky, no filtration, no movement of the water, so they like it quite still, calm, shallow. Another reason why I've decided to get Medaka is because they're very hardy, so they should survive our British winters just fine, even in my small tank. However, my fish are actually still quite small, so depending on how much growth they put on before winter, I may move them into my polytunnel for a little bit of extra protection. We'll see how they grow and how our winter fares. But they are very hardy, and you know, even if we get temperatures below 0 and the top of the pond freezes up, they should still be absolutely fine underneath in a rather sort of dormant kind of hibernation kind of mode. They'll be very slow in the winter time, and that's completely normal. Another reason why I've chosen the Medaka fish is not just because of their size and their hardiness, but also they eat mosquito larvae. And that's one of the main reasons why I've got them, because as much as I love my pond and this water feature, I don't like being eaten by mosquitoes, and believe me, they absolutely love my blood. So this is going to be the perfect way to keep them down and give them a nice free meal. Now, the Medaka fish don't actually live very long, and it's not really surprising because they're only about this big, and they'll sort of live between 3 and 4 years, I hear, when they're sort of outside. They might live a little bit younger when they're inside as an indoor aquarium setup, because they're permanently warm. They do enjoy the coldness in the winter time that kind of helps slow them down a little bit. So yeah, I'm hoping to get 3 years out of them, we shall see. Maybe I'll even have little babies next year. Who knows? So I'm really excited. So I think it's time that you meet my new Medaka fish. So I've actually bought 5 altogether, and different colours of each Medaka. I shall have to put the names down below because I can't quite remember them all. And they've transported really well, and I can just see its little face here. Hello. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. I'm sorry you can't see this. I'll have to show you some close-ups. Wow, you're beautiful. So, gosh, are you a male or a female, I wonder? Yeah, it's actually quite difficult to tell the difference if you have a male or a female. It's all to do with the fin and the size of the belly, I believe. It's quite tricky, but it would be great if I've got a few females in here so that we could have some babies. And who knows, maybe the different colours will breed, and then I might get a very unusual strain of my own. So we shall see. But I think I should spin you around now so you can actually see these little guys. Here he is, look, hello. It's so cute. So I think this is the platinum Medaka because it's very bright white, quite silvery. Come on, come this side. Quite difficult to see in this bag, but you can see it's only very small. So that's one of this variety, and let's go have a look at his friends. I noticed this one doesn't have quite as much water in it. It may have leaked in transit. But this is also a very platinum coloured one. I'm sure there are differences. I think the other one may have actually been the blue variety. But I've got another one of this one, and I think he'll show up quite nicely in the tank because he's that bright colour. Does look quite calm considering he's been in transit for a little while. Hello. You're so small. Now this, they're right on the bottom. It's difficult to find them. is the orange variety, but because they're quite young, they're still putting on their true colour. So as they age, these little guys will actually turn completely orange and lose that silveriness on their bellies. I really hope I've got a female one of these. It'd be lovely to breed them. Oh, you can see there's a little bit of fish poop in there. Really need to get them into this tank so they can meet their friends. And lastly, I think this is the grey one. Hey buddy. Oh, it's difficult to focus. He might blend in quite well with the tank, as my tank is grey, but I really wanted a darker one. They do also come in black. I feel like I maybe should have got a black one as well, but we shall see. It's coming on for 20 to 8, so I really need to get on this. So what I'm going to do now is float those bags in the top of the tank so that the water temperature acclimatizes with that of the tank, so the fish aren't going to be in complete shock going from their warm little pocket of water into a big cold tank. So it's really important that we settle them in really gradually. So I'm going to float the bags in the tank now. I am really looking forward to opening these up and getting the little fish into the pond, because there's so many mosquito larvae in there now. It's becoming a little bit of a farm. I can see them all wriggling around, and I know that they're just going to absolutely have a field day just chomping down on all of those. Rather than pouring this bag straight into the pond, I heard it's better practice to not do that, because there is a tiny chance that there could be bad bacteria or infections, disease in that water that's come from the aquarium. Obviously, we're really hoping it doesn't, but to make sure, I'm actually using my own little method here where I'm pouring that excess water out using this little sieve. And then catching the fish in the little mesh sieve that I have there in a glass, and then pouring that fish into a small little bowl of pond water that I've just taken out of the pond. And then that will acclimatise them to the new pond water. I'll get all of the little group together before I then pour this bowl into the main pond. Well, it's almost 9:15 at night now and it's starting to get dark, so I should probably head home. But I apologise if the footage is starting to get a little bit fuzzy due to the low levels of light. But before I go, I just want to go over the care of these Medaka and answer any questions that you might have. So in terms of their food, because these guys are omnivores, they're going to be eating the mosquito larvae, any sort of bugs that sort of land on the surface that are small enough for them to eat. They'll also be eating algae. So for that reason, they don't really need much input from you in terms of buying fish food. But I have bought some, and because of their really tiny little mouths, you can't just buy normal fish food. You've got to buy the micro fish food, and I've actually gone for the flakes. So it's a nice thin micro flake that you can scatter on the surface, and it'll float for a little while before it then sinks. So that's what I'll be giving to them probably every couple of days if I remember. I don't think it's too important that you use it, and they could probably get by without any in the winter, probably much at all, because of their dormant period when they sort of hibernate. I mean, they're great, they're just so minimal care and they're very hardy. But in terms of their water, obviously they don't like too much movement, and I have put an aerator in here which puts out like a gentle sort of bubble just to keep the oxygen into the water and to stop there becoming a film across the surface of the water. And I will probably keep that on. I have turned it off now for the next couple of days just so that they settle in. And yeah, they don't want too much water movement, so I may put the aerator behind some bricks just to sort of soften the bubbles a little bit. I'll see how they react to it when I switch it on. But because mine's solar powered and we don't get that much sun normally here in Britain, we have had a bit of a hot, dry summer, but normally we have overcast days, so it's not going to be on all the time anyway. In terms of their water, well, as I say, they like it shallow and not that fresh, so I won't be doing water changes on this. But one thing I will be doing is topping it up quite regularly, because it's in this small tank. Evaporation is going to happen, and there's going to be quite a bit of water loss during the hotter months. So I'll be using water butt water, which is rainwater, to top it up, and that'll keep some of the carnivorous plants in there happy as well. And another thing is I've got an overflow hole in some of the corners. I need to make sure that I've got a gauze over that, so if I get any heavy rain, my fish aren't going to fall out and swim out of that overflow hole, because they're small enough at the minute that they could fit through. So that's my priority before any rain comes. I'll be doing that tomorrow, in fact. But yeah, they're not going to need water changes. In fact, they probably wouldn't like it if you change the water too often. I know that's kind of a common thing with sort of tropical fish, but I think these guys, you know, they want it calm, relaxed and pretty chill. You know, they're a chill fish. When it comes to winter time, what will I be doing then? Well, as I say, these guys are super hardy. They'll tolerate frost and cold weather, but because they're still quite young, quite small, if we are going to get a very severe winter, I may put them into the polytunnel. I could take this whole tank and put it into the polytunnel just for a bit of extra protection. The polytunnel isn't frost-proof, but it will take away the worst of any weather. But even if there is, 2 inches of ice across the top of the pond, I expect these guys to be still absolutely fine underneath, because they'll go into a hibernation sort of mode, so they don't use too much energy. And also, I won't be feeding them in the winter time either. That's about it really. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I will be checking in, and I might put some extra footage now of them over the next few days, because it is starting to get dark, and I appreciate that my video quality today may not have been the best, but obviously the priority was getting them out of that cardboard box and into my pond. So I can see that they're all really settling in well, they're getting along together and discovering their new home, which is so lovely to see. So yeah, I'll be keeping a close eye on them on the next few days. And oh, by the way, they actually came from Scotland, which I discovered, and I just thought, wouldn't it be great if they all had Scottish names? So I have 5 fish, and I need your help. So let me know your favourite Scottish names in the comments, and help me name my fish. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys real soon. Bye.